Hi, welcome once again to my channel, and in this video I'm going to show you and walk you through how you can set up your home lab with your PC or your laptop. Yes, your desktop or your normal laptop. Setting up your home lab, there's a lot of things you need to put into consideration, most especially amount of resources you have currently on your PC. So in my lab here, my laptop has a CPU of 8 cores and 8 logical processors and a 16 gig RAM, which is quite enough to start a simple home lab in order to use it for virtualizations and all that. And the desktop here has a 16 core CPU and a 64 logical processors, which is very heavy enough to take a lot of virtual machines and to be able to lab so many use cases and scenarios. Then, using your laptop, you need an extra network card. In this lab, I have an attached network interface that I'm going to use for the laptop. Then, for the desktop, you need an extra network card for your PC for the desktop, so that you can be able to simulate different network interfaces within your lab environment. And the purpose of this lab is to be able to use the ports on the lab workstation host that we have, whether your PC, your laptop, to be able to use those Ethernet ports individually, so that we can be able to pass traffic from one PC to the another. So the normal way we had it before was to have the host, then we have virtual machines within this host, and we're able to create maybe host virtual network within this for interaction. But we want a situation whereby these physical ports that we have on our PC or on our laptop will be able to pass traffic individually and independently, so that users connected or PC connected or switch connected to these ports can be able to reach the ports. And also the physical PC connected to these ports can be able to reach the physical PC connected to the PC1, and both PCs can be able to have access to the internet, whereby our internet router will be plugged to port 3, which is attached to the VMs. So the first thing I want to do is to download VMware Workstation Pro. Mind you, close to the end of 2024, VMware Workstation Pro is now free to use by all users, whether you're a commercial user or you're a regular user. You can now use VMware Workstation Pro for free. So I'm going to drop the link to where to download it for you guys, just to download and use for your home lab and all that. So I downloaded the Workstation Pro and I'm going to install it. Here is how you should install your VMware Workstation Pro. So you double click at the download, and let's start the installation of the VMware Workstation Pro. Next. Let's add next. Click next. Yeah, so click next and install. By the way, I'm using Windows 11, so I'm installing the VMware Workstation Pro on my Windows 11. So click the personal use, continue, and finish. So now we have Workstation Pro 17 up and running, and the next thing we want to do is to set up the network, the virtual network on Workstation Pro. Don't forget that we have more than 2-3 Ethernet ports on the CPU that we are using. Whether you're using your desktop or you're using a laptop, you can have multiple ports connected and set up the virtual network here. So we are going to be bridging this virtual Ethernet port, bridging them so that we can be able to use them as normal network interface. We're going to update this later, and just click on remind me later. So coming to edits and virtual network editor, one of the things we want to do is to map each of these network interface to the virtual network of the VMware that we currently have. So, like I mentioned the other time, you come to network and right click on it, open network interface. Then, so you would see here I have different numbers of Ethernet ports that I have. So the first one, Ethernet, is the one that comes with the CPU, which is on the board. The other Ethernet ports are the ones I bought as a card and installed on the desktop. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ethernet ports on the desktop for now. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 internet ports is what I want to attach to my virtual VMware. So coming to edits, and let's click on change settings. Yes. So we have just 3 Vnets connected and we have only one bridge as automatic. One of the things we want to do is to assign the network ports or network interface ports to each of these virtual cables. So coming to automatic settings for this, I would uncheck all these. We'll uncheck all these. Then we'll take it one after the other. So the first port we want to add is this port, which is the one on board. The one on the board. Then we'll click OK. And which is the automatic. So in adding the rest, we had add network, call it virtual network 2. Yeah, we can call it virtual network 2. Then no, let's use this instead of using host only. Let's bridge it, and we can bridge it to this is the first the third one. So this is the second one. You can see Intel 82582 GB. That's the network interface name. So let's select from this is the first one, then apply, come to the third one. Instead of using Vnet 8, let's create Vnet 2. Let's add network and create Vnet 2. Then put some bridge mode. Let's add this network, which is this. We have Intel HAR 82528 gigabit. Apply. Then let's create the third one, Vnet 3. Okay. So for Vnet 3, we also choose the bridge mode. Then add network, bit mode. So automatically this has the next port we want to bridge, which is this. Then apply. Then let's add the next network. Add network, net 4. Okay. Then bridge. Then add this, which is Intel. So these are the ports. Apply. Then we had the next one. So if you look at this, we've added This automatic bridge is the one that comes with the board, the ports, the Ethernet port that comes with the board. This one comes with the Ethernet card that we added to the board, 2, 3, 4. So I think we are done with that. So if you look at this, we have all this connected, and what we want to do is just to click OK. So we have our network, created for our interface, for our virtual machine. Then the next thing is to install, different virtual machines. For that, for this, we are going to install for a FortiGate device and assign those interfaces to the FortiGate device interface, so that we can be able to do some of our things we want to do. So now we've been able to successfully install FortiGate VM on the VMware Workstation Pro. So what we want to achieve is to be able to use the ports on the lab workstation host that we have, whether your PC, your laptop, to be able to use those Ethernet ports individually, so that we can be able to pass traffic from one PC to the another. So the normal way we had it before was to have the host, then we have virtual machines within this host, and we're able to create maybe host virtual network within this for interaction. But we want a situation whereby these physical ports that we have on our PC or on our laptop will be able to pass traffic individually and independently, so that users connected or PC connected or switch connected to these ports can be able to reach the ports. And also the physical PC connected to these ports can be able to reach the physical PC connected to the PC1, and both PCs can be able to have access to the internet, whereby our internet router will be plugged to port 3, which is attached to the VM. So the physical ports that we have on the lab workstation host will be attached to each of the port interface of the FortiGate VM. And that's what we want to achieve. And for every other lab experience or testing we want to have, we can be able to individually use those interfaces without having to, bombard our lab workstation with, different VM resources and overutilize our limited resources that we have. So let's get it started. So the first thing we'll do from the previous that we did was to attach those physical ports to to the virtual network of the VM workstation. So let's log into the FortiGate VM. So coming to the VM settings of the FortiGate VM that we install, let's go to settings. So looking at this, the first adapter will bridge it to the directly connected to the physical network. That will be the Vnet 0 that we configured on the virtual network editor. Then we set this to Vnet 1 and this to Vnet 2 for that. Then you click OK. So after this, you configure your FortiGate interface, configure system interface, edit 1. Then we want to see the network at which the network of the first interface, which is when you come to this network, open network, then go to change adapter. Then looking at this is the network the Ethernet port, which is the onboard internet port that we're connected to. IP config. So if you check here, we have it as 192.168.100.125 and /24. So we'll give our the port 1 as 192.168.100.100. Then set allow access HTTP HTTPS then end. So let's try and access the FortiGate device from the GUI here. So we have admin. So we have our three interfaces configured. This is port 1, port 2, and port 3. So what we want to do is configure this port 2 and port 3 and place the physical devices, which is our PC, on port 2 and place another physical device on port 3 and be able to pass traffic across them. So if you go to the virtual network, which is this on the FortiGate device, we have settings. On this, we have the Vnet 1 and the Vnet 2, which is port 1 and port 2 on our device. So what we'll do is to configure the interface on FortiGate. Then on this FortiGate device, let's give it an IP address 10.10.10.10.1/24, and let's enable pinging and HTTPS, then device detection, and let's enable DHCP server for this. Click OK. Then on port 3, let's configure this as well. Can name it, and you can give it any role depending on what you want. You can give it LAN 1 LAN, then 172.16.16.24/24, then enable ping and DHCP server for this and click OK. So now looking at our ports, different ports on the FortiGate device, we would insert, we have two PCs here, and we would insert PCs on those ports. So looking at our setup, we have PC1 and PC2, and this is our server. We're going to connect to this port that we've connected. So we have 4 ports here. Each of those ports has been configured and attached, to the VMware Vnets network, like we did before. So this is port 1 and port 2, which has been bridged. So we have port 1 and port 2, port 3, port 4 on our network card, and it has been bridged to the VMware network. What we're going to do is to insert PC1 on this and PC2 on this. And these two interfaces represent the interface ports on the FortiGate device that we've configured, so that PC1 coming from here can be able to reach PC2 connecting to this interface. And if you have a switch or any other router, they can also connect to this interface and create a network for for your lab devices and all that. So let's get them connected. So as you can see, we have port 3 connected, PC1 has been connected, and there's a CSP client on this. So let's connect the second PC as well. So if we check the DSCP server monitor, let's go to DSCP. So we'd see that our first PC has been added, then our second PC too has been added. This is a gateway between them. Then, so we need to do a firewall policies so that we can be able to, the two devices across board. So we are doing between port 2 rather and port 1. We want to try and create like a form of policies for them to be able to interact. Then coming to firewall policies, create port 2 to port 3, then source all, destination all, and service all, remove nothing, all sessions all. So we want to be able to create like a reverse policy for them. Let's clone reverse, copy, then paste below. So we'll take this as, before we have port 2 to port 3, let's do port 3 to port 2, port 3 to port 2, and click OK. Here, click OK. Then let's try and ping. So of the second device on the network is 10 dots. If you look at this, is 10 dots, 10.10.10.3. So let's ping from 172.16.16.3 to 10.10.3. So let's try our ping. Ping 10.10.10.3. So let's do a continuous pinging from 10.10.10.3. So we can see if there's any traffic. So we'll see some level of traffic from both policies we've created. From both traffic that we've created. So we can see source pinging from 172.16.16 3 to 10.10.3, and 10.10.3 is able to ping 172.16.16.3. So let's try and because we breach this interface of port 1, and this port 1 has our internet gateway fixed on it, and we can use that as our internet gateway to pass the traffic from these guys to the internet. So creating this, let's go to network policies, firewall policy. Let's create a new policy from income interface as port 2, then go to port 1, this internet access. then source as all, destination all, then let NAT be enabled, then all sessions. Okay, so we want internet access from port 2 to from the devices on port 2 to have access to the internet and all that. So what we'll do is to test if this device has access to the internet. The first thing we need to check is if FortiGate itself has access to the internet, which is this. The FortiGate is able to have access to the internet because you can see the DNS. If you come here and say execute ping so FortiGate has access to the internet. So let's ping. Let's try and have access to the internet from the devices on port 2. So I'm on the device on port 2. I'm trying to reach google.com. And basically, let's check our reports for logs and reports and see what's going on. So we can see that this device from 10.10.3 is trying to have access to the internet on HTTPS. So we have access to the internet from this device, and all well and good. We can see the source IP from 10.10.3 and to the internet. So with this, you can have your lab, very simple, and create a mini lab within yourself, and have access to create a local area network and also create networks that have access to the internet. Let me know in the comment section if this is useful for you.